don't know whether they tested the ZZR out on the A87, but it feels like this motorbike was built for this road. It laps up the corners, and then when you point it at a straight, it does this. Right, well that was an unexpected view as I reached the top of that mountain. A very welcome one. No wonder that the person that put the route in Ride magazine said to use this single track road. I'd have missed it if not. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, it adds to the journey. You don't get to see places like these from big wide A roads. Just look at that. I must admit, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, camping out, worried that the tent was going to get blown away, absolutely freezing, wondering why I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere riding a motorbike. Well, this is why. This makes it all worthwhile. What's the alternative? Sitting on the settee at home? Watching Netflix? No thank you. Simply beautiful. Oh, look at that. That's inviting, isn't it? Oh, look at that coastline. Just getting, well, I think there are a few spots of rain on the visor. Yeah, I did speak too soon earlier. That ridge looks spectacular. Is there anywhere else that you can get views like this on either side? Got the coast on one side and the mountains on the other. Those dramatic crags up there towards the top. Wow, is the only word I can think of right now. Rude not to. Old Man of Store. Now, can these roads get any better? The road surface can, but I'm not sure about the location. Not sure if the scenery can improve. It's probably up there with anywhere in the world, I'd say. Unfortunately, it does look like we're going to get to wet test the Michelin Road 5s. Quite a bit of rain on the visor. The camera clean. It's nothing too bad just yet. You see the road surface is absolutely terrible down the centre of the road there. I think there's a photo to be had there. Yeah, let's give it a go. Definitely photo worthy this. Let's find where I was trying to get. Be careful with cambers here. Bit of a Ford. Not the ZZR's greatest asset off-roading, but the photo will make this very worthwhile, I'm sure. Right. I really must push on now. Still got 69 miles before the castle. It's 2:15. It's probably going to be closer to 6 o'clock by the time I get back to the campsite. Would have been a shame to ride past that and not get photos. Temperature just started to drop. Heated grips on. I had actually turned the cameras off just to save a little bit of memory card space. I didn't expect this part of the ride to be very interesting, but road surface is much better, but the scenery is still stunning. So we've been through Portree, we're now heading south down the southeast side of the island, heading towards the bridge over to the mainland. See the snow on top of the mountains up there? Certainly worthy of turning the cameras back on. As you can see, the rain's coming down. We are in Scotland, so it's to be expected, even though the forecast is going to stay dry. Not too bad at the minute. Next destination then is Eilean Donan Castle, place that I've stopped off quite a few times in the past. I've never gone into the visitor centre, never eaten there, so that's the plan today. Just going to get a coffee in there before heading back to the campsite in Fort William, Glen Nevis. Temperature's starting to drop now, and the grip's up to 75%. Seems to be heading into the rain rather than away from it. The sky's certainly greyer in front of us than it is behind us. I've only ever ridden this road once before, and it was absolutely throwing it down then as well. I've never ridden this road in the dry. Rain's starting to become quite heavy now. See how low the cloud is up there. Suit and gloves seem to be keeping me dry so far. I've worn this suit in some really extreme conditions, and it's never let in water yet. It's an RST adventure suit, not quite sure the name of the suit, but I'll try and find it out and post it later. Highly recommend it. Probably suited more to touring bikes because of the length of the jacket, I'm looking to invest in a shorter jacket that'll still match these trousers with a zip. Completely waterproof so far. Very warm with a thermal lining. Vents for summer use, so zips. A couple of zips in the legs, a couple of zips up on the chest for summer use. It comes into its own when the weather's like it is today. Cold and dry this morning and then heavy rain this afternoon. "23 miles to Eilean Donan Castle." Just see the bridge appearing on the sat-nav. Not sure whether you can make it out on the camera. And I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that this rain's isolated to this island, and when I hit the mainland we'll have blue skies and sunshine. Well, thank you to Cafesia, whatever you pronounce it. Just caught my eye as I rode past, got a little bit off plan. Amazing latte in there, topped off with a lovely piece of latte art, a nice touch. Highly recommend there. Reckon a note of that and stop it off there again, I'm sure, in the future. So the plan was, well, the original plan actually was to ride on through to Eilean Donan and eat there. But as the rain started coming down, I thought I'd get off the road, have half an hour, get warm, some coffee. Hopefully the rain would blow over, but that hasn't happened. If anything, it's probably heavier now than it was when I went in. Never mind though. Without stop, sat-nav saying I'll be back at the campsite. Glen Nevis, 20 to 6. It's now 10 to 4. It's under 2 hours. Quite sure that I can do that in one fuel stop. So, change of plan. On to Eilean Donan. Get some nice videos, we ride past it, and then push on to Fort William. Just under a 2 hour ride. We'll do that in a oneer. You don't fully appreciate the Isle of Skye and the size of it until you try and ride around it. It's took up most of today. That's back to the ferry. Armadale, that's where we came in this morning. This way to the bridge. Okay, I think we're about to hit the bridge, leaving Skye back over to the mainland. Skye Bridge, heading towards the Kyle of La Calche. So we got the ferry onto the island and the bridge off it. Thank you to Skye. You've been a brilliant host. I've loved your roads, your scenery, stunning island. Hope to be back soon. Hopefully you can give me a day with sunshine. Get to do Skye in the dry, although for the most part it was dry, so I'll be thankful for that. So thank you, Skye. Back on the mainland. It's just a shame that this rain's come for this part of the trip, because these roads are amazing too. Yeah, rain's getting quite torrential now. Putting a dampener on things, literally. It's a real shame, because I've ridden these roads in the dry and they're absolutely brilliant. We don't need the sunshine to be able to appreciate views like that. Not at all. Look at that. Whew. Lots of these are B&Bs, but I'm sure there's some houses as well. What a view to wake up to. Oh, I just see the castle in the distance there. No matter how many times you've seen it, it still blows your mind. I don't know what it is about the castle, but I don't know, I've seen it on TV or seen it in films, or I know it has been in some films. But if somebody asks you to draw a castle as a kid, that's what you draw, isn't it? Middle of a little island, bridge over the moat towards it, smoke coming from the chimneys at the top. Brilliant place. Like I say, I've stopped there a few times in the past, got plenty of photos, so I'm not going to bother stopping there today. Good to see it all the same. 5:30 back at Glen Nevis, going to the sat-nav. An hour and 17. Just shows how the location of Fort William is perfect for this loop. Got the incredible roads on your doorstep. Oh, this is not going to be good. Lots of loose gravel. The A830 and the A87, just to name two. So you roll out of bed, or in my case this morning, roll off the air mattress, and you're straight on to some of the best roads in Europe. Oh, we've got a convoy system. As the rain stops, does it get a little bit brighter? It definitely is getting brighter up there. Is the middle of April, very early season of course. Little rain's expected, particularly in Scotland. Did I honestly think that I was going to get 3 dry days? Yeah, I was hopeful rather than expectant. Still, a wet day around in Scotland with roads like this and views like that, better than a dry day riding anywhere else. The other good bit about riding this early in the season, the roads are even quieter than they are in the summer. Not a car in front of me, not a car behind, road to myself. Well, this is the A87, and even in the wet I think it blows the A830 out of the water. Bend after bend, rise after fall, lots of elevation change. Just tracking the bottom of the mountains, look. Is the A87 the best road in Britain? think it just might be. We just look at this road. It's official, the A87 is the greatest road in the British Isles. I wouldn't want to be riding any other road right now. Every aspect of it is spectacular. The shape of the road, the number of the bends, mostly the road surface, the scenery, you know, the setting right in the heart of these mountains, the lack of traffic, spectacular. And it just keeps on getting better. I don't know whether they tested the ZZR out on the A87, but it feels like this motorbike was built for this road. It laps up the corners, and then when you point it at a straight, it does this. Just look at that. Just keeps on getting better. Back home you would ride for 40 or 50 miles to see scenery like that, or you'd ride for 40 or 50 miles just to find a set of bends that were nice to ride through. Here you've got 50 or 60 miles of bends and scenery. Scotland is full of roads like this. The scenery is simply stunning. Nowhere else in the UK can compare. This is why I camped out in freezing cold, gale-like conditions last night. Makes every part of the journey worth it to ride roads like this. Almost no traffic to speak of. Any cars that you do come across are easily overtaken because the views are so far in the distance. Plan overtakes easily. If it wasn't raining and it wasn't so late in the day, I would consider getting to the end of this road, turning back and doing it all over again. It really is that good. If you haven't ridden in Scotland, or if you have and you've not ridden this road, then you need to start making plans to ride it. You will not be able to understand how good it is from the video. The thing that gets me in the wet isn't necessarily the grip, because I can honestly say I've not felt this bike move underneath me because of the wet tarmac. It's not necessarily the grip that makes riding difficult for me, it's the vision actually that affects me more than anything. Just being able to see further into the distance. I've got a pin lock installed, which does help. Stops the visor fogging up. So we've got a right turn, 1.4 miles, and from previous experience the road we're about to go on is just as amazing as this one. I think a little bit more challenging if I'm right in thinking, not quite as open and sweeping. Hats off to the A87 then. If a road could take a bow, then this one should. This is probably why we should be thankful the Romans never made it up to Scotland. Straight roads and all. Okay, right turn. We are off towards Invergarry and then Fort William. Let's see what this part of the road has in store for us. 39 miles to the campsite. Yeah, certainly as I remember, much tighter, more technical than the previous road. Let's see how high this is going to take us. Don't think that my sat-nav shows elevation. Might be wrong. You just know that as you round this corner at the top, there's going to be some amazing view. There it is. There it is. Pine forest making a nice addition. Let's have a look. No, I don't think it shows elevation. Oh, it does, elevation. The views just get better and better. Look at that. That has to be the view of the trip. Any chance of a photo, we're going to have to take it. Oh, wow. 1,144 feet. We peaked at then. Oh, that. Just open the visor. That rain is ice cold. That is the view of the trip. This has to be a photo stop. Oh my god. Oh my god, just look at that. There's the spot. And do you know what? That's not such a bad place, that. Just gotta watch the camber. Let's take some photos. Well, that is quite possibly the most beautiful scene that I have ever seen. If you were to build that and compose that just for the sake of it being beautiful, I don't think you could do it any better. Obviously got the snow-capped mountains in the background. They layer upon layer on each other as they come forward. And the loch meandering round the front at the bottom of the valley. Nice little bridge over there and the fish farm down the bottom left hand corner. We've even got smoke rising out of the chimney over there, look. And then we've got the pine forest on either side, just framing the picture. What an incredible scene that is. That in itself was worthy of this journey. According to the sat nav, 57 miles to the campsite. Rain is still icy. It's not too heavy now though. Let's get these grips cranked up. Starting to get a bit chilled now. It is only mid-April, so temperatures up here probably around about 6 or 7 degrees, not much higher than that. These roads appear to be dry. Doesn't look like they've had any rain on them whatsoever. Got a right turn coming up, just over a mile. That's onto the big hole. That's onto the A82. 26 miles to go to the campsite. So we're going to be following the A82 all the way from here to there. Now, if I remember rightly, the A82 is a decent riding road. The views aren't anything like as spectacular as what we've seen elsewhere today. So if there's not much video footage from here on in, that's why. Just didn't make the video, didn't make the cut. Well, I didn't think that there'd be anything on this A82 that was worthy of video in, but once again Scotland surprises me in the best possible way with this lochside ride into Fort William.